This morning, for every dollar we spend on health care, 50 cents of it is wasted. That's very frustrating for so many Americans who feel like they're already charged way too much. Senior medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen joins us to explain the prescription for waste in health care.
Stephanie, according to a 2008 report, there's about $1 trillion in wasted medical spending in this country. Now, a lot of it is crazy charges at the hospital. Take a look and see what I found on some medical bills. When you or I go shopping for a toothbrush, how much do we pay? $2, $3, maybe $4? Well, guess what one hospital once charged a patient for a toothbrush? $1,000. Can you believe it? $1,000 for a toothbrush. And you know who ends up paying for that? You and I. We end up paying for it. It comes out of our pocket in one way or another. And that's not the only crazy hospital cost I've run into. Come on, come with me. And at the store, how much does a bottle of Tylenol cost? $10 for 100 pills. Well, we know of someone who at the hospital was charged $140 for one Tylenol. Can you believe it? $140 for this. Now, here's a box of disposable gloves. When you buy them here at this store, they come out to 24 cents a pair. But I know of a hospital that charged $53 for a pair of gloves. That's right, $53 for a pair of disposable gloves. What the heck is going on here? So I'm here in the home office of a medical billing advocate. This is Cindy Holtzman, and she helps people cull through all of these crazy charges, and she has all sorts of examples. I got to tell you, Cindy, this is one of my favorite ones. This is just like a little alcohol prep swab. We've all had these. How much did a hospital charge for these ones?
$23 a piece.
$23 for this little tiny piece of cotton.
And on one bill, there were 44 of them. Becomes very expensive.
Oh my goodness. But this isn't even the craziest thing you've ever seen. Tell me about one of your crazier charges.
Well, recently I had somebody that was charged for 41 IV bags when she went to the ER for a 2-hour visit.
Oh yes, you heard that right. A woman went to the emergency room with a migraine headache, and they gave her 1 bag of saline, and then they charged her for 41 bags of saline, to the tune of $4,182. Now, the really crazy thing about this is that her insurance company actually paid this bill. They didn't even question it. So why did her insurance company pay for this when it was obviously wrong?
There's not many people working at these companies anymore. They're very busy, and usually any kind of bill that's under $100,000, they don't look at the details.
So they just write a check.
They just write a check.
Now, I called the hospital that made that erroneous charge, and it turns out they did fix it when the patient brought it to their attention. They declined to speak with CNN. And also the insurance company that paid that erroneous charge, they also declined to speak with CNN. Now, if you have insurance, you might be thinking, well, what do I care about this? My insurance company pays for these crazy costs. Well, think again. When medical costs go up, 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 we all are paying for it in our premiums. Our premiums will also go up and up. Stephanie?
That's just shocking. Thanks, Elizabeth. So if you think you've been overcharged on a medical bill or know someone who has, you're definitely going to want to listen to our next guest. He's going to tell you how to fight back. Andrew Rubin is Vice President of Medical Center Clinical Affairs and Affiliates at NYU's Langone Medical Center. He's also the host of SiriusXM's Doctor Radio. Andrew, thank you so much for being here.
Good to be here.
All right, so you work in a hospital environment. When you hear some of these charges, you hear $53 for some disposable gloves, let alone the, $1,000 toothbrush. What do you think is really going on? What's going into the cost of that?
Well, there's two things going on. I want to separate the cost of certain items and medical billing errors. And first, let's talk about the cost. You're not really paying for just that aspirin or just that latex glove that we just saw in the piece. There's a lot of costs that go into that. Hospitals are very complex places to run. I know this is difficult for the public to understand, but you're paying for the nurses, you're paying for the technicians, you're paying for the building, the power, the lights.
Why not separate that cost out, though? Why not say this is how much you're paying for the aspirin and this is how much you're paying for the service?
That's a great question, and you know what? We can do that if that's the direction the country moves in. This is historical. This has been going on for years and years and years, where the insurance companies reimburse hospitals for things, and the things they get reimbursed for are the supplies, are the drugs, are the equipment that's used. They're not reimbursing them for the power and the lighting. But if a managed care or insurance company came to a hospital and said, you know what, I want to reimburse you, and you're going to charge us for the aspirin, and we're going to pay you for the power and the nurses, we could do that.
All right, so when you take a look at the charges, if you are overcharged, you're saying the main thing you need to do is look at your bill, but a lot of that is in medical ease. So what do you say is the best way for a patient to do that?
You just got to look at your bill. Plain and simple, look at your bill. And it's going to be hard because you're usually in the hospital or getting a service. You don't exactly know what's going on, but you get a good sense. Like, again, in that piece, 41 IV bags versus 1 or 14, whatever the number was. You know you didn't have 41. You want to look at that. And if there is, in fact, a mistake, you want to make sure it gets fixed.
And so if there's something you don't understand, even if it is in medical ease, take it back and ask questions and get clarity. That's the final point on that.
Get clarity, and there's two ways to do it. You call the hospital or the doctor, and you call the insurance company.
All right, Andrew Rubin, thanks for breaking it down for us, getting us some advice on what we need to do there. All right, the Senate's big